Welcome to Steve McDonald's Crafting, and today what I'm going to be doing is turning this into a small coffee table. So I'm not sure if you've seen the project where I made this little koi pond on my other channel. If not, I'll link at the end of this and check it out. It was really quite easy to do and it was great fun. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this into this piece of plywood. Now it's two pieces of plywood that I've glued together. And so I'm going to cut that bit out there, which I've just drawn around, set this in, and then put a mosaic around the edge and put some legs on. This will be easy to cut out. All I'm going to use is a drill through it, and then go around it with my jigsaw. I've cut the centre bit out. Not as neat as it could be there, but that doesn't matter because you're not going to see that shortly anyway. And now what I'm going to do is push this in and glue this in. But before I do that, I'm going to paint these edges here silver. It's not going to show through too much, because these are quite opaque, the bottom and the sides of this, but just in case it shows through. So I'm just going to use a bit of acrylic paint and paint those edges silver. And now it's time to put this in. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is put a tiny bead of wood glue around here. Now, wood glue does work quite well, I think, on resin, especially if it's up against some wood. But I don't want too much. I don't want it to squeeze out. So just putting a little bit all the way around like that. And then it's fitting this in. It should be a fairly tight fit. And I have got my little rubber mallet here. Now I've got that in there as far as I want that in there. My next job is to put the tiles on. And this is the tiles that I'm going to be using. And these are pieces of mirror that I've cut up from a junk mirror. I'll show you how I do that now. This mirror is a piece of mirror that I've got left over from a massive mirror that I broke several years ago. And I've just been using it up in crafts for quite some time. And all I'll do is I'll put my square on. I'm not too bothered how square they come out. And I will cut some strips off using my glass cutter. And this is so much easier than what you would think as well. Believe me. And there's something really satisfying about cutting glass. So I'll cut strips like that. And I'll cut this whole thing up. Look, you can see all my cameras and everything. You can see me. Hello. And then when I've got my strips like that, I don't measure these. I just cut them randomly like this. I just go across the whole thing, making marks. And then you should be able to just break these off. Now, wear gloves if you want to, so you don't get little shards of glass in your fingers. I mean, I've been cutting glass years, and I do wear gloves sometimes, depending. Eye protection is a must. And there we go, you've got your mosaic tiles. You're gonna love it. Got a whole box of those now, and they'll glue on lovely and easily when I come to put them on the project. And I've left a little lip all the way around as well to enable me to go right up to that and then becomes flush. And I'm gonna glue these on using good old wood glue, because I found that wood glue really works well for this. And I've got no pattern in mind because of these sizes and shapes and things. I'm going to go around, glue these on wherever I put them. Then I'm going to fill all the gaps using some white grout, and that will finish it all off lovely. I'm leaving gaps in between each one as I go around. Now there should be plenty here for me to do this, but obviously I won't be able to grout it until this glue has dried. And the great thing about these and using the wood glue is if you don't like one where it is, you can just move it. It isn't stuck down straight away. I should go all around the edge first of this, and I want it to look a little bit higgledy-piggledy. I'm going to finish this off, then I'll show you when I come back to do the next stage. Well, this is all nice and dried on here now, so it's just about putting the grout in. And I've got some pre-mixed grout, so I'm going to quickly show you how I do that. And grouting is much easier than you would think. All I'm going to do is plop a bit on there like so, move it all around, fill in all the gaps, and then scrape off as much as I possibly can. Let that sit for a few minutes, and then I wipe it off. And then once this has all been grouted and this is all dried up, I'm then going to put a border around the edge to finish it all off nicely. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. can you see, all I'm doing is using a squeegee, pushing this grout in, and then scraping it off. And just keep checking it, because there was a bit there that I'd missed. And it's the grout that really does finish off the piece. And this is an all-weather grout as well. It's waterproof grout, so if it gets any water on it, it's not going to damage it. Because all the little bits that you think, oh no, that's too big a gap or whatever, on a mosaic, I think look really nice. They finish it off lovely. So once you've got that all in and you think, right, I've got everywhere full, you can go around, scrape as much as you can off it, look for any bits that aren't filled, and there will be some. And then to make it much easier to clean up, all I've got here is a damp cloth, and I'm going to just go over it now and get some of that surface grout off. That helps a lot. And then I'll go over it with a dry cloth, and then once it's dry, I will polish it all up. I've cleaned most of this up now, and as you can see, it's very, very sparkly. But I have left a little bit here just to quickly show you how easy it is to clean up. That is why getting rid of all the excess to start with makes life so much easier, because you only have like this little powder. And to be honest, you could go around and rub it with your finger, but all I've got is a little cloth with a tiny, tiny bit just of clean water on it. I'm going round. Any patches of glue I can just peel off. I go round, wet that up a little bit, then take a dry bit and polish it off. And look how simple that comes off. Now, if you didn't scrape that to start with, what you would have is you'd have lots of big hard lumps of the grout on there, and it makes it far harder to get it off. I've got my pieces of wood that I'm going to put on here, and these are the edging strips that are going to go all the way around this, and that finishes it off nicely. And what it also does is it protects the edges of these mirrors and the mosaic as well, because you don't want to be catching these and popping bits off or breaking them. These are easy to glue on. All I'm going to be using is some good old wood glue. Just put a strip down each one of them. I've cleaned up the edges of this as well to ensure that there is no grout on them. And then I stick them to the sides and then clamp them on. And then we'll leave that to dry off. The edging is glued on there nicely, as you can see. So what I need to do now is just grout that all the way around up to that edging. Now I'm going to cover this edging with some painter's tape while I do that, just to protect it from the grout so I don't have so much to clean off. I'm just going to run a little thin line of this painter's tape along here, like that. I've taped that off now, and all I'm going to do is fill that. Now I don't want to get it everywhere, so I'm just using a little bit of card and putting the grout in like that. And then I shall do exactly the same thing. Make sure I clean it off as much as possible, and then wait for that to dry. And then I can finish off the table, paint the edges, and then put the legs on. Well, it's all ready now to have the legs put on it. I've put all the edges around it. I've cleaned it all up, and I've also glossed and painted the edges. I used the fancy black by Arteza for the edges. I love the way it gives that beautiful sheen on it. Just a little bit different. These are the legs that I'm going to use on it. Now, I always cut out of felt as well, some bits to go under there, and that just helps them, I think, give a nice cushion and just finishes it off a little bit better when you put it underneath. And the legs are really easy to get hold of, and they will sit in there like that. And because it's all nice and square, or, well, because it should be nice and square, they should all fit in these corners like that. I'm going to counter drill those and then screw them in. And as soon as I've done that, I'll show you what it looks like, all completely finished. Well, the table's all finished now, but I'm really pleased with that. Let me know what you think. Do you like it? I really like it. I think it just gives a whole new dimension for the piece of resin in the middle. That is my little koi pond. And to be honest, it cost next to nothing. I had the wood kicking around. It was a broken mirror that I cut up into tiles, as you saw. I'd already made the insert, and then I put it all together. I did buy the legs, and there was time involved with it as well. But overall, I love how that has come out. I think it has come out as a great little project. If you'd like to buy me a coffee to say thank you for any of my videos and help support this channel, it's really appreciated, and you'll get your name on my coffee board. The links for everything that I've used are in the description below. Leave a comment, please hit that thumbs up as well. It really does help my videos to get out there. I think this is one of my favourite projects. Take care, enjoy your crafting. Bye.